Okay, here we go again. You know what? I'm gonna make an edit before we play. Probably only one. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I just really noticed that even though I love Veil of Summer against certain decks, the fact that we only draw if they cast a blue or black spell, and we only get hexproof from blue and black, it's too situational, and I'm not playing 4-player Commander, and this is not a CEDH deck, so I'm going to take this out. I like that it says spells you control can't be countered this turn. It's nice to have a silence in this deck. It's basically what that feels like, but too situational. So really what I'm looking for instead is the white card that does the same thing, which I have forgotten the name of, so I'm just going to scroll through until I see, because it's also only 1 mana, and it's 1 white mana. And it gives you and permanents you control hexproof, okay, and then it prevents damage from red and black sources, but it's just hexproof. It's not specifically blue or black or any color, so you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. I am going to keep that in the deck, and I guess we have to find one more thing to put in. Our curve is pretty low. We've got more white than green cards, so I might need to adjust the lands, and I've noticed that while playing, actually, that I have needed more white mana than I've been able to draw. So this is any color, this is any color, this is any color. These are all duals. Let's take out 2 forests, or maybe 1 forest. Go up to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 white sources. Almost a quarter of the deck. Oh no, we're going to be entering maintenance soon. I bet we can get a game in before that happens. Well, what do we put in here? Skrelv seems like a good play. Just because we can get hexproof until end of turn, that could also help protect Sythis. I do want to stay on enchantment theme and not stray too far away from that. How about we just do this? Search for enchantment. And look for something that's just going to mesh really well. We draw a card here, and that gives something flying, but we have to have something to give flying too. Here's another pacifism. We have so many of those though, or I feel like we have enough of those. And I don't want mediocre cards. Invasion of Gobakon is interesting, because that slows people down, and then that could also potentially be flipped. Ossification is great. Here's the OG pacifism. Ruined Halo is not something we can play. See, we've got Planar Disruption, we've got Realmbreaker's Grasp, we have Reprobation. Skrelv's Hive, I think I'm going to leave in. This is great because it's an enchantment and auras cost 1 less. Sunder the Gateway is only enchantment removal. We're not going to play Bat Colony. Sigarda's Splendor is also one that might come out of here. So this may end up turning into deck tech more than playing. We have to keep Idyllic Tutor. So good. So good. This is specifically a combo piece, but in a 100 card deck, I'm okay with that. If it was 60, I might not run the combo. I really don't want another double white in here. I think we are going to just go ahead and get rid of Sigarda's Splendor. We might even get rid of War of the Last Alliance, because how many creatures do we have that are legendary? I think we have Shigeki, and we have Daxos. That literally might be it. So it searches for 2 creatures. And ironically, the last game that I played, which I don't think I recorded, I started with both legendary creatures and this card in my hand. So it was just one more reason not to have it. So we're going to get rid of that too. Okay. Invasion of Belanon is tempting because I like the Anthem effect, and I like that we get a creature from it. I don't like that it's a battle instead of an enchantment. Oh, Moonblessed Cleric, of course. It's an enchantment tutor. You know, I almost want Minimus Containment. Turn one of their permanents into a treasure. It's a 3-drop. But that's tempting. And we're only getting into more and more expensive stuff. I like things that affect permanents or non-land permanents and not just creatures. This probably won't work very well for us. Cassia's Welcome, I think, is still okay in here. Wedding Announcement is great in here. Felidar Retreat. It's only what a land ETBs, though. Myrel. You know, I like that ability. You have hexproof. That's pretty nice. Stasis Net. Gain 2, create a Power Stone. We're not really... I don't think we're seancing. When the mutt enters the battlefield, destroy artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Journey to Oblivion is interesting. Knightly Valor is at least an enchantment, but it's really not the best. Not when we've got a 5-drop like Sigil of the Empty Throne. It's really what this deck wants. So getting into the expensive stuff, I do think this deck wants Farewell, just so we have a form of board wipe. There was a game that I've played with this deck that I will not upload because of just how terrible it was in terms of pacing on both sides. But Farewell would have been nice. I don't like that this doesn't hit Planeswalkers. But in green and white, what else are we going to do? Yeah, I don't think that's that great. I think this is worth trying, since we don't have a lot of expensive stuff in this deck. I also think March might be the same. Haywire Might is really interesting. Is it worth it in this deck, though? You know, Generous Visitor is interesting. I really just want to be like cycling through the deck as fast as I can, but we do also need some creatures, and that's a cheap one. So I think we'll try this guy. This being, this spirit. I do like that Fang of Shigeki, although a 1/1 Death Touch common, is an enchantment. That's appealing because anything where I can pay 1 green mana and trigger Sythis to draw a card is really appealing in this deck. And 1/1 Death Touch is not terrible, so I'm kind of thinking Visitor, Shigeki, Farewell, and then I'm also considering Haywire Might and March. But for now, we're going to do that. We're going to hope that we have enough white mana in this game, and we're just going to run it and see how it goes. So, 10-minute deck editing, Let's go for maybe a quicker game against Tajik Legion's Edge. They go first, but man, this is a great hand for us. We have one of our win cons, although not the best one. We have a tutor. We have a 1-drop lifelink protection. And then we have Utopia Sprawl to ramp us on turn 1. So pretty excited that we get to go turn 2 Sythis into Bounty, draw a card, gain a life, into turn 4 Archon of Sun's Grace. That feels really good. And if we can just keep that rolling and tutor for something else and just trigger these Pegasus, we're going to be in good shape. Okay, this is Boros. Haste Mentor. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. Okay, and you can give it first strike for 2. Okay, so they're going to come out swinging. They go first, but man, we've got such a good draw. I think we're still going to be okay. Fingers crossed. Okay, so let's do it. Let's Forest, Utopia Sprawl. Let it tap for white. Now we're really fixed on mana. Unfortunately, what we can't do is play the Hydra and then play Sythis Al-Said. So we have to play the Plains, and then we have to do this. And luckily, we actually have a lot of creatures in this deck, so their Thalia doesn't do anything to us right now. Everything except for Idyllic Tutor and now Borrowed Time are non-creatures, or are creatures rather. Archon is a creature, and it will trigger off of our enchantment creatures into an Esper Sentinel. So this is pretty finely tuned. They've got a pretty good deck going on here. Esper Sentinel, and this is one of our counters I put on this draw card. We're just going to keep our train rolling. Man, I really wanted to play Archon. It sucks that we can't because the Hydra is going to come in tapped. So let's draw 2 cards with our Spirited Companion instead. We'll settle for that. I am going to probably go ahead and play Forest instead of the Hydra, just so we can play Shigeki here and trigger another draw. Cool, and then we'll just say no attacks. I don't think we're going to use the Shigeki ability, so I'd be happy to block Thalia or anybody else that comes in. So it gets to counter the Duelist. And then they draw a card, and then we're just going to go ahead and block. Yeah, I don't really think I need any of these cards too terribly bad. I did want to keep Al-Said for coverage, but like now we're ready to play Archons and start putting out Pegasus tokens, so happy to just do that. And we're going to get to keep Shigeki, I assume, if they attack right. So happy to keep them from making that thing too big. Oh my god. We got to keep the other ones. Great. Absolutely great. Man, now we have some tapped lands, which I'm not happy about, but I guess it just is what it is. We'll play that. Go to combat. Obviously, we're not going to attack here. We'll play the Pegasus, and then next turn we've got at least a couple of things to play. Well, we have Excavation, so we have one thing to play. But I feel like, well, okay. How many cards do they have in hand? 3? I feel like we're doing all right. We're still at 24 life. I'm happy to just double block the commander here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about the first strike ability. That's fine. Maybe we just borrowed time. I don't like that our Pegasus got destroyed. We could also search for our 5-drop. But if we borrowed time, we can pay for the Esper Sentinel and we can get rid of Thalia. I feel like that's going to be good enough. Just pay it, that's fine. Draw a card. Skrelv's Hive is nice, we'll get rid of that. Play the village, and then... You know, actually we will show the plains, because we can commune with spirits here. And then we can get Wedding Announcement, that's really nice. Okay, great. Cool. We're not going to block with Sythis, so I'll go ahead and attack with Sythis. Send a message. Okay, a horse of some kind. This is why I put farewell in here. So this is what? Horses you control have haste. Whenever this attacks, put a creature card with lesser power from your hand. Okay. And this is just Mentor of the Meek. And Thalia. Okay. Land for turn. I think it's okay to play the plains here. We might die next turn. Let's Idyllic Tutor. I am just going to let them draw. They can have that. That's fine. Let's get the Sigil. And then we will go ahead and play our... what is this? Human Soldier? I think we'll go ahead and play Wedding Announcement so we have another blocker, and then we're probably going to let Sythis die this coming turn. We will play... Oh, we can't do that. So we have the option to channel Beseiju if we want to. We're going to save the Meticulous Excavation. That way we have another cheap enchantment to play to give ourselves an angel. So we'll go combat, no attacks, in the turn. Get ourselves a token. We have 2 blockers, and we have a Beseiju if we can kill any sort of enchantment. So for 4, they can deal 2 damage to something. Oh, activate only if it has a counter on it. Okay, so it's just a 4/4 right now. 2 damage to Sythis. What do they got here? Need to mute you because I hate when people say good game early. I guess we just channel Beseiju. We'll get rid of the Esper Sentinel. Let them find a land if they want to. Still isn't technically lethal right now, but we will see. So we block the 4/4. We go down to 2. We play Sigil. Why is it asking me? I guess, yeah, just auto pay. And then we Planar Disruption. I think we just die because we really needed a land there, and we actually really needed Sythis to be on the battlefield. Our mites can't block. We play Planar Disruption, create an angel, but then we just die. We lost to Boros aggro. That's really sad. Yeah, because we still are going to take at least 3. So we needed one more thing on the battlefield. We needed to not lose our Sythis. And or to have at least one more land. If we would have had one more land, then we could have created a second angel token by playing Meticulous Excavation. So I'd be surprised if they don't attack here. I don't know what they're really waiting on. We're tapped out and we only have 2 blockers, and we're at 2 life. But if they want to think about it, I'm going to let them. Did they just actually disconnect or something? Okay. I feel like they might have disconnected. This is... one of the things about playing any sort of game that requires somebody to be present for it is that there's always room for human error. Maybe this was technological error. But if your opponents make a mistake, that's also part of the game. And if they let us live, then we get to take advantage of it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Daxos is pretty good here. I think we go ahead and Kenrith's. Target the commander. We get to draw a card off of Kenrith's even without Sythis, which is really nice. If we draw a land, we probably play Sythis and then play one of our cheaper enchantments. And then our wedding announcement flips. Okay. The game that we should not have won. Wow. This is why sometimes I don't concede. Sometimes I want to see it. And this was one of those times where they didn't show it to me. Alrighty. Well, here's to more Sythis.